Hey everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Jonesin for Live. Episode 3. That's right. We're hopping on like we always do and sharing it. So if you are watching this, whether you're watching live or on the replay, please join us and share it out. I'm just writing, come join us. I can never write and talk at the same time. So it's too many things happening at once. So hop in here. Let us know you're watching live or on the replay, hashtag replay, and let us know you are here joining us for this episode of the Jonesin for Live. And today we are talking all about energy vampires, those people, places, and things that drain our energy. But we're going to get more into that. But so before we get in, how's Sharon going?
Good.
Rocking it. You feeling better this week?
Ish, yeah.
She has more energy than she has had the last couple weeks, so that's I'm happy to hear that. Glad you're here and pushing through, but she's feeling a little bit better at least.
I'll try not to mouth breathe too much.
I appreciate that, and thanks for not making me sick. Thank you. Yeah. And thanks for not making everybody else sick. I think they appreciate it. Yay! Oh my gosh. So hop in the comments, let us know you are here. We got it up on the laptop in front of us here so we can respond to comments. We love seeing them and know that there is a Q&A session coming on up towards the end. So if you have questions at any time, write them in there. But before we begin, let's start the show as we always do by saying welcome, thank you for being here, and let's just slow down, be present, and breathe. So we'll take in 3 deep, gentle breaths in and out through our nose, if we can, or your mouth. Together.
Thanks, honey.
You're welcome. I'm watching out for you. So exhale what you have. Breathe in. And exhale. And I invite you to think of a gratitude as you breathe in. And exhale. One more time. Keep thinking the beautiful things. Breathe in. And out. Continue to breathe in deeply and gently as we go on this show and we have some fun, hopefully helping you shine your light bright. We're coming to the end of 2024 and we're heading into 2025 here. And one thing I noticed a lot, one thing we really focused on a lot this year has been energy vampires. And so I was really excited when we decided to have this topic for this episode because we have Christmas coming up and the different holidays you might be celebrating. And those are usually filled with a lot of people, holiday parties at work, family get-togethers, and there's some energy vampires there. But before we even get there, I'm curious what you're grateful for. Let's start this episode, as we do all episodes, off with a gratitude. I see we have Jim here, hashtag live. Hey, Jim, welcome. Thank you for being here. I was jonesing for some Joneses. I love it, Jim. Thank you so much. Jim, what's one thing you are grateful for? Drop that in the comments. Let us know. Katie, what about you?
I was thinking I'm grateful for traditions. We just celebrated Spencer's birthday yesterday. It was on the 12th, but in my family, we've always done this thing where Sunday's family dinner, and so when someone has a birthday, we pick the Sunday closest dish to it, and we celebrate, and it just always feels really special having, like, the person pick out their special dinner, and opening presents, and just being together. It just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
And it was an amazing time hanging out and just celebrating the birthday on the 12th, but then also on Sunday, and so my gratitude is for family. Just to have people who aren't necessarily blood, might be by marriage, and just there to celebrate and have fun, and through the good times, through the bad times, that they're there for you. And it could be blood, it could be love family, like the Energizers, it could be through marriage, whatever. I'm just grateful for those people in my life. So what are you grateful for? Drop that in the comments, let us know. Even if you're watching on the replay, let us know what you are grateful for.
Ooh.
Jim says...
Super productive day planning to launch something. Ooh.
Exciting! Well, if you want to tell us, give us a sneak peek of what you're launching, feel free. But if it's top secret, I get it. You don't have to share. But that's super exciting, Jim. I'm proud of you and excited to see it grow and launch and impact lives. You do some amazing work. So yeah, friends, if you haven't checked out Jim yet, check him out. He's an incredible guy, speaks from the heart, and will empower and motivate you. Can't wait to hang out one of these times here, Jim. One of the times we're in Orlando, we'll actually get together. Promise you, we will. So let's dive into energy vampires. Katie, give us a short definition of it for you, and I'll share mine.
Oh my, I would say an energy vampire is any person, place, thing, thought, concept, anything that pulls you away from being your authentic self and drains you of your natural energy.
Love that, the authentic self part. That's really nice.
I wonder if I got the answer right. Professor?
I mean, that's all whatever works for you, really. For me, it's similar. It's a person, place, or thing. It could be thoughts. It could be a place, location. It could be many, many things that stop you from living your life to the max, right? It's something that, I love what you said, your authentic self. It doesn't allow you to be your true, authentic self. And, it just doesn't allow you to shine as bright as possible. I mean, it's basically a very similar definition. Jim says, not a secret, just don't want to take your show off course. Hey, it's all good, Jim. Feel free to share. We'd love to share that out with people as well. I've been so in the weeds with stuff that we've been working on and building that I think I've seen it, but I'm not 100% sure. So feel free to share. You never take us off course. If we do, that's okay. That's where it's meant to be.
Spencer usually goes off course, so
it's true.
It's nothing new.
That's very true. So energy vampires. It's getting back on course. Talking about energy vampires. Katie, what is an experience you have had with energy vampires?
So I was a classroom teacher for 12 years in an elementary school with a lot of women and just a couple men. And I think that gossip and negativity in the teaching world is very common, whether men or women. It's an equal opportunity thing, I guess. And when I first started teaching, I went every day and ate lunch in the teacher's lounge. And I thought, as a new teacher, I was kind of like, oh, I'm in the teacher's lounge, I felt all important and stuff. And I realized a few weeks into my first year of teaching that really the teacher's lounge is just a place for people to complain about their spouses, their children, their students, their car, the world, politics, stubbing their toe this morning, everything. And I just remember being really like, oh, because I found myself getting sucked into it and being like, yeah, and then I'd go in the afternoon and I would be shorter on patience, all this stuff. And so I tried doing some different things where I would try to bring up a topic, almost oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd, but almost being like, oh, today I'm going to ask this question and see if we can get, but it just always kind of wound back to the negative, draining, ugh. And so eventually, after a while, what I did was I just started eating lunch in my classroom. That was kind of the boundary I set for myself, was I just can't commune in the teacher's lounge because it just was so negative and icky. And I found that I actually had little cool experiences eating lunch in my room because, my students would come back from lunch and they would pop up and tell me a funny story, or, kids from other grade levels would stop and be like, oh, kindergartners would get lost all the time. Oh, Is this my classroom? No, honey, but I'm Mrs. Jones. It's nice to meet you. Who's your teacher? So it turned out really, really great to make that boundary. But the teacher's lounge for me was a really big energy vampire.
It's interesting because I remember when I was teaching, and even student teaching, there was one school that had a very positive, uplifting, supportive lunchroom, and the other one not. And so you could feel the energy change even when I was teaching, and at different times throughout the year it was more positive or negative depending. And thinking of energy vampires in my life, the ones I've experienced, I'll say two. One, I'll start off with just clutter in general. We did an energy vampire hunt earlier this year, I think it was in July, and I realized this energy vampire in my life as I was doing the live sharing things. I'm like, oh my gosh, the clutter in your space can be an energy vampire. If you have a cluttered environment, as a person who grew up, with little piles of different things, I never really thought of it until the space got clean. And now realizing, if I keep it clean and organized, at least to some degree, it energizes me. It helps me be at my best. It's one of those sneaky ones. So it could be something like that. Or I was on a call. Maybe you've experienced this, right? We have the coffee chats, virtual coffees, right? Whatever they're called, and have it, via Zoom, or it could be in person. And there was a stretch there where I had a couple of them, and there was like 2 back to back, where they were filled with people who were so self-absorbed, just wanting to talk about them. I don't usually time conversations or anything like that. This was just over an hour. It's like an hour, 7 minutes. Not that I was counting. But the total time that I shared about what I was doing or stuff about me that I got word in was 13 minutes of the 67-minute conversation with one of them. The other one, it was more like 20, 40. No judgment against them. That's just what they're doing and how they are. But man, was that energy vampire for me, realizing, hey, these people, they're just talking about themselves doing this stuff. That's where they're at. Cool. But that's not helping or serving me. I need to set a boundary and get out of it, right? And it can be tricky, right? We have these energy vampires, people, places, things, the thoughts we think, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm stupid, I'm dumb. All these things that can suck away our energy. And I invite you, if you haven't, come check out our energy vampire hunt. We do those every couple months, and they're a great masterclass where we dive deep. Or even check out our energy recharge event. That's where we really go deep into it. It's a one-day event. In 2025, we're doing one in New York City in the White Room with Morris and David. So hopefully you can come check us out there. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be end of February. And then we're going to Austin, Texas for one there. So come check us out. That's beginning April.
So fun.
Yeah, so those are fun events where we really target them. But we want to help you because energy vampires are coming up, and you're already surrounded by them in your life. You're probably bound to see some more this next week or 2 at the holidays and all that stuff. So, Katie, how can our energizers spot the energy vampires in their life?
So you can definitely notice some common traits with energy vampires.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be on the lookout for people who are constantly draining your energy by that being like overly negative. Someone who's always, no matter what you're talking about, they're going to be like, oh yeah, well of course they would do that because, everything tends, we all have those moments, we have those days, right? Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, Spencer, I'm being really negative today. Don't be the Prince of Positivity, just shh. We all have those days. But, there's some people where you just find that they constantly are like, every time you talk to them, it's like, oh, wow, my car, blah, blah, blah. There's always bad about anything. So look out for that, because that can totally drain you and it can totally suck you in too, and you can become like that, and it's really scary. So
it's easy to slip in.
Yeah, it totally is, because you're just like, oh yeah, I go along with this, and then all of a sudden you're like, I am a grouch. When did I turn into Scrooge McDuck? So anyway, people who are constantly demanding attention, or organizations too that could constantly, like I know my mom and I, my family went to a church when I was younger, and my mom and I volunteered a lot there, and then they just wanted my mom to do everything all the time, and it was just like, Linda, do this, can you do this, can you lead that? And like, that was totally an energy vampire for my mom, because she wanted to help, right? She was like, this is my church, these are the people who care, I love them, and after a while, it was like that constant need of her attention and her time and her efforts, like, it was like, burnout city. So that's a big one.
Before you go on, I just want to give a shout out to Michael Duffy. Yay, welcome, Michael. Thank you for hopping in, joining us. Jim says your mindset can be one if it isn't healthy, 1,000%. And we have Allegra. Yeah, Allegra, hopping in, joining us. What's up, Katie and Spencer? Yes. So glad we caught you live. Love the lightning bolts, our official emoji. So good. Thank you, Allegra. We love having you here. Welcome, and welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. All right, you can go on. Sorry, I just got excited. I wanted to say
you get so excited.
I do.
Another one is excessive complaining, which kind of ties into that overly negative thing. But if, like I know in the teaching world, I don't know about your teaching world, but in my teaching world, there were people who constantly complained. It was like, oh, this new policy, this administrator, this student, that constant complaining, again, can kind of suck you in, and you just feel yourself getting the life drained out of you. You're like, oh, so it's just awful. And like Spencer was talking about, some of those calls, like always trying to be the center of attention. We all want our moment to shine, right? Well, most of us, I guess most of you guys do. I don't really, but he makes me. But, we
like
all,
shining.
well, sometimes, I guess, in front of like
just different
children.
Ways. Different ways of shining. That's okay.
But needing to constantly be the center of attention, where people aren't letting others have their chance in the limelight. Okay. It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn now.
I needed my moment.
I didn't want to steal your limelight on you. Well, and it's interesting, as you said some of those things, like, I've been an energy vampire before. I've been the person who stole people's limelight and wanted it all on me, and many different things. If I look at being an energy vampire, I've been one, and you've been one at times too. We've talked about it, and sorry to break it to you, you've been an energy vampire too, at some point in your life. And you know what? That's okay. It's part of this human journey. We can learn and grow from it. Try not to let yourself be weighed down by it. Instead, using it. Okay, well, now that I'm aware, how can I learn and grow from it? How can I move on? And you mentioning the people who are bringing up the negative things all the time. I realized this last summer, there's a group of guys that I like to hang out with, old colleagues of mine, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun hanging out. But man, why do they always bring up just the negative things about the past? Negative things about the past. And so we usually get together for breakfast every couple months, and man, it was just so negative, so negative. A couple positives, but so negative. And then before the last one, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go anymore, because it's just so negative, and I don't want to put myself in that environment. I don't have to. I went to one more, and thankfully, started just a little bit negative. I'm like, okay, here we go. But then it turned around and was positive, and we talked about current things and happy, the positives going on in life. So, you can give things a shot, but also be aware, be mindful of what you need to do for you, and use those tools, setting those boundaries, those different things in place. One of the tools is to really clearly identify what your boundary is, what you are saying and sharing. Right? Use I statements to make it super clear that, hey, this is my limit. This is as far as I'm going. We talked about practicing self-awareness. Oh, I'm aware that I'm my own energy vampire, that my mindset's off, or that I'm aware that my energy's off at this place, with these people, with whatever it is. Right? So you're practicing self-awareness. Also setting realistic expectations, to think that an organization or a person or even you could change like that overnight. Is it possible? Sure, of course. But you got to set realistic expectations. And how far can you go? Like, push yourself, but also, be realistic. And I'm always hesitant about that one. But for energy vampires, set realistic goals. Like, if there's a energy vampire in your life, I have one in my life that I can't just cut out, that like, okay, well, I'll spend a certain amount of time. All right, I'll spend 2 hours there. And then I'm out, right? And if I feel my energy getting drained during it, I'll go out for a walk. I'll go move around or do something just to make sure my cup stays full. Mm-hmm. Also, being assertive. This can be really hard, especially if you're an introvert or if you're shy or you're uncomfortable with it. But you got to be assertive, saying, hey, this is my boundary. I'm enforcing it. It's so easy to cave in. Remember, your boundaries are for you. And last but not least is to say no. Or saying no is a full statement. It's not selfish. It's self-care. You're taking care of yourself and your cup. And there's many ways of setting boundaries and different things and ways we can go into it. And this wasn't planned how we designed this at all, but we are leading a boundary masterclass. It's boundaries and positivity. So we're talking about boundaries, going deep diving into it, helping you create them and how to hold them, along with how to overcome a negative bias. And we're doing that masterclass December 26th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, a little different time. We thought we'd try something a little different. There is a recording for everyone who does register, and it's free. It's a free masterclass. So if you are interested in joining that masterclass, just drop masterclass in the comments, and I'll be sure to share that link with you. So just drop masterclass if you're interested. It's 1 hour. It's a free masterclass all about boundaries and overcoming negative bias. But just throwing that out there if you are interested. Jim says, don't mess with the Duchess. Ooh. Don't mess with the Duchess. Let's see.
My cousin, the Duchess, Delilah. Well, don't tell her.
She's upstairs right now.
Right? She definitely, I love her, but she can be an energy vampire. Just that constant negativity. And, it's like, oh, Delilah, do you want to do it? No.
We should get Delilah on the show one of these days.
We should.
I don't know if we can do it for this season. We'll see. We'll see if we can get Delilah here.
We'll see. She doesn't really like Spencer much.
It's true. She doesn't.
If you look at her posts, she definitely doesn't like Spencer too much.
So Jim put former teacher as well, also special needs teacher. Go you.
Oh, wow.
Those teacher lounges were such gossip pits. They totally were. And we have David here. What up, David? Can't wait to see you in a couple months in the White Room for our energy recharge. Everyone should get their moment in the sun. Vitamin D helps us all grow. So true, David. Oh my gosh, don't mess with the Duchess. Yes, we have to realize that people from previous seasons may not be right for me in the current season. Exactly, right? And that's not a bad thing. It's just a different season of our life. They served us, we served them, however it was. They were aligned at that point, and now they're not. And that's okay. We kind of talked something like that in the first episode of season 1 here, so 2 weeks ago. Talked something like that. David put, I love Spencer and Katie Jones. We love you too. Boundaries are needed around the Duchess of Doom, right?
It's true.
We do. We need to set them ever since she started living with us. Woo! So
someday she may go home.
You never know.
We'll hope.
Or we can convert her to positive thinking. We'll see.
See, he's more positive on that. I'm like, she's never going to change. And he's like, I'll get her, Katie. I'll get her.
We'll see how it goes. But,
okay, sure.
So energy vampires are everywhere, yes, but you can feel them, you can see them. We hopefully gave you some tools and strategies to recognize and overcome them, especially up in this holiday season. Make sure you're taking time for you. Our next show is on Christmas Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve. No,
23rd.
23rd. So 2 days from Christmas. So we'll have our show next week, and we'll share some just maybe some extra little strategies. But as you go through holiday parties, different things, make sure you're taking time for you. Charge your batteries. You know, maybe it's you're going for a walk, you're doing some breath work, going to the gym, or whatever it is that serves you. Make sure you're filling your cup this week and leading into it. Recognize those energy vampires. Set up those boundaries. Do it for you because you matter too. Any other last thoughts on that before we move on?
I think you got it.
All right. So make sure you're thinking, if you have any questions for us, we'd love to answer them in a little bit. But before we get there, we have 2 segments left. Answers in 60 seconds. And we have 2 questions people have asked us. And then the other section is the behind the scenes, but we'll get there. So answers in 60 seconds. I did not put another post up this week. I was going to, but people have been commenting back on the one all the way from December 2nd, which is awesome. So thank you, folks. So we had 2 questions asked there, and actually one that we're putting on for next week already. So that's pretty cool. So the first question, Katie, why don't you take this one?
Okay.
This is a tricky one. How do you conduct yourself appropriately when approached?
Do I ever do that?
Yeah, sometimes. How do you conduct yourself appropriately when approached with name calling and negativity?
I think like name calling and like people like pointing negativity at you. I think first you got to stop and breathe. I'm the firecracker who gets lit like when stuff like that happens, and I'm like, how would they say that about you, Spencer? And Spencer's like, well, honey, we don't know what's going on in their life. And I'm like, I don't care. That was
I was not always that way, by the way. I was just as much a firecracker as Katie was.
I'm learning. But I think the most important thing to do first is to stop and to breathe so that you don't do your reactive. You don't want to be reactive to something and make something bigger than it needs to be. I would say definitely don't engage in that name calling or, throwing shade or negativity at somebody. Just kind of like step away from it. And I think it's just best to, like Spencer always says, like respond with love, and try to stop and think, well, I don't know exactly what's happening in their life right now. Maybe I said something and they interpreted a different way, or maybe, look at your own actions too. Maybe did I say something that maybe was hurtful, or, it's always important to just stop and think before you do anything, I think.
Well, especially we see that so much on social media. People can be the keyboard warriors, as it were, right? Hide behind the keyboard and say these things, that it's important to pause, reflect, and see, well, okay, maybe I said something that was like that just for your own reflection on it. And then, I had one where it actually strengthened my view because I said something and they disagreed vehemently with it. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me look at my comment. Do I agree with my comment? It just made me look at it deeper, and I realized, oh my gosh, I actually tenfold agree with what I put, right? That much more because of that. It just made me evaluate and think about it more. But what about in person? Like a person's attacking you in person. Like,
well, what do you do?
For me, and we have people, say you're stupid, you're dumb, or, like just think of any other insults with fun, colorful language that you can imagine. We probably all had them tossed our way at times. For me, it's really hard for me not to get fired up and get angry really fast. I try to breathe. and I try to respond with love. Like that's really like the fundamental thing for all that I do is how can I respond with love? Maybe that's not saying anything. Maybe it's just turning around and walking away. Maybe it's saying something kind, but I never try to retaliate because that's just lowering me to what energy, what vibration they're at. And I'm not interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? 100%. But it's not easy.
And I think a lot of times, face to face, it's important to take that time to breathe by walking away.
Yeah.
Like I know, parent-teacher conferences are always interesting and interesting individuals every year. And sometimes there'd be somebody who all of a sudden is just ripping on you as a teacher, and all the world's problems are your fault, et cetera, et cetera. And there were times when I had to be like, you know what, we're tried to redirect. Let's talk about your child's progress. Didn't work. They kept going. And then it just came to that point where I had to be like, you know what? I think we need to stop this meeting right now and take some time to reflect. And hopefully we can reschedule a time to actually talk about your child's learning. But, sometimes you just have to walk away and say, you know what? Now we're not being productive. Let's take a moment.
Right. And I think it was over 60 seconds for that answer.
I'm sorry.
But it's an important thing to share. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Answers in 40 minutes.
Right? That's really what we should do. We'll just have 2 answers. We'll have a whole episode on 2 questions and 2 answers.
We could do it.
We could. I talk enough. We could.
Oh,
all right.
It's catching.
All right. So second one.
Okay. So Spencer, how do you stay or become authentic as a leader?
How do you stay authentic as a leader? I just did, I was on a summit talking about this just this last week. So for me, staying authentic is knowing who I am as a person first and foremost. Like, who am I? What do I like? What don't I like? Where am I going? Where do I have a clear or at least a good idea of where I'm going? That vision forward. So is that and is it aligned with me? Right. So it's aligned. It makes sense. And then how do I say that? I need the clarity to become that authentic leader, because then I'm just me and I'm chasing my passions. I can support people, responding with love, being supportive and caring is how I can become it. Staying there, it's continuing to go after the goals, going after that vision, being kind, responding with love to other people, trying to be that positive relational leader. Let's share that positive light. Let's be encouraging. Let's form good, positive relationships with our team members, with whoever it is, our clients, right? That has helped me become one and stay one, is first having clarity of knowing who I am and where I'm going, and continuing to do that, even though life throws curveballs, continue working through it, having a team of amazing people by your side, whether it's your team, whether it's your family, whether it's the Energizer family, your community. They make, all those things make a huge difference in continuing to shine your light.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to practice what you preach as a leader. If you're out on Facebook or speaking places and you're spouting that you should do this and do that, and it's important to always such and such, then let your actions show that. I think that speaks volumes for people who look to you as a leader.
There's so many people out there who are leaders, people following them, that they say one thing and they do another, right? Their actions show differently. And it's... maybe that's where they're at in their life, whatever, no judgment, but at least I try to be aware of it and try to distance myself from that, because I'm like, no, let's just find the people who are authentic, who are doing that, saying what they're doing and doing what they're saying, right? Lining that up. It's not always easy, though, but it makes such a big difference. And I invite you, as we share our answers to those questions, for you to think, how would you answer those questions? How would you respond to those energy vampires? How would you respond to those bullies who are name-calling you? Or how would you remain an authentic leader, become and remain an authentic leader? How would you answer that? We shared our thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to drop them in the comments and share them with everyone as well, because you matter too. Your opinion matters, and maybe we helped it, maybe we didn't, or maybe you have your own. That's beautiful. But feel free to drop those in the comments. And as you're doing that, does anybody have any questions? I probably should have asked this before. Oh, wait, we have one more section left. We have one more before Q&A. Okay, so drop in your questions for us if you have any. Maybe it'll be a short episode. No one has questions, although we're right up 6:59. We're getting close here.
We are good.
So, behind the scenes. So, just a little short, quick segment so you get to know Katie and I a little bit better. Last week we talked about our favorite food, I think, or it was 2 weeks ago, and our places to visit. Places to visit was 2 weeks ago. Favorite food last week. This week, Katie, what is one of your top bucket list items?
At the risk of having you schedule this and make me do it, no. Going in a hot air balloon. I think that'd be really neat.
We were afraid of heights and all those things.
Scary,
right?
but really neat.
She said something like that a couple of years ago about skydiving, and then I booked skydiving, and we went, and you made it, you survived, yay! And so hot air balloon, that would be so much fun. I'd love to do that.
Yes.
For me, one of the bucket list items, I'm not sure I like the term bucket list, but in any case, one of the bucket list items would be to snowboard in the Rockies. Like go to a ski hill, mountain there, and have some fun in real mountains. Wisconsin hills are great, they're fun, but man, I can't wait to get out to the Rockies and have some fun. So maybe we could all get an Energizer trip going. It doesn't have to be like a full-on retreat. We'll just get together and go skiing and snowboarding together. Or for those that don't want to ski or snowboard, like Katie, right? You can just you can enjoy the snow. You can stay inside, have coffee, hot chocolate by a fire, read some books, have a good time. Maybe we can make that a fun little Energizer experience, just a fun little excursion.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, let me think on that. That'd be kind of fun for next year. All right, any questions for us? This has been great, says Jim. That's a beautiful question. Thank you. I think so too. Oh, just kidding. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Any questions? Any thoughts? We'll give you just a moment here before we head out. Katie, why don't you go on the challenge while we wait for comments? Share what the challenge is.
Me
for
go
the
on to
week.
the challenge?
Yeah, I've been talking a ton here
Okay.
today.
I guess I can do that. Yeah, well, that's normal.
That's true.
I say that with love. I'm not judging. It's just he talks a lot. All the time.
It's true.
It's true. He's a talker. It's fine. So a challenge for this week would be for you to think of one energy vampire in your life that you are dealing with now, and think of how can you set a boundary to try to preserve, safeguard your energy. So think of, it could be a person, could be a place, an organization, a thought that you have yourself, an expectation that you or someone else places on you. What's an energy vampire you are struggling with, and how can you set a boundary to protect yourself from that? So please feel free to share in the Energy Hub group. Feel free to share in the comments on this video if you'd like to divulge your energy vampire and how you plan to handle it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it if you're comfortable sharing. If you're not, that's okay too. But I'd love to see it, and I love that idea. Let's find that energy vampire, and set your boundaries, set whatever you need to do to maintain your energy, and maybe don't start with the biggest one that you might notice. Start with something smaller, easier, and then we can build it up from there. And then I would also invite you and challenge you to join our Boundary and Positivity Masterclass coming up December 26th. Again, if you're interested, just drop Masterclass in the comments, and I will share that link with you. It's a free masterclass. Love to have you, and there is a replay available if you're not able to make it that day. I get it. It's holiday time. You're with family, all that good stuff. So if you can't make it live, there is a replay available, plus an extra bonus just for those that register. So I don't see any comments. So if you do have comments or questions or anything, feel free to drop them in there. Reach out to Katie or to me. We are here for you, and we are excited. This is episode 3 of a 6-episode season 1. So we're halfway through.
Woo. Yes. Wow.
I know, right? We have 3 more episodes coming your way before we take a little hiatus, and then we'll be back most likely for season 2. We're going to see. Do you like this? Do you not like it? We need your feedback, so let us know. Give us your feedback. Let us know. Share it out if you like this, so more people can enjoy. So with that, thank you for being here. We love you. We appreciate you. Go shine your beautiful light with the world. And until next time, we'll catch you later. All right.
Bye.
Bye.